Hello everyone, time for a little brunch. Here I'm cutting up some fresh cilantro, excellent detoxifier for the body, very fragrant and delicious. Add it towards the end so it's not overcooked. Here I have my oysters that I may have washed too much, but they're still very usable. So I'm cutting off the flour portion of them, and then I'm gonna put the stems in the wild, so maybe I'll come back to some fresh or wild mushrooms. Then here is a beautiful red pepper, very delicious, high in vitamin C. I can actually eat these raw, but they're excellent to add to any type of dish, and it adds a lot of flavor and also color to your dish as well. I'm not a chef, but I know how to get the job done. I'm not an excellent cutter, but it's happening here. Here I have some fresh baby kale, some eggs that I am gonna beat up so they're nice and fluffy. I don't add water or milk or anything to it, just beat it up. And then I'm stir frying the mixture here, except for the eggs, and putting some seasoning, some garlic, pepper, and sea salt. Not too much. Then I pour over the egg over it in my copper pan here. Very pretty, very nice aroma cooking. Add some goat cheese, and here we are. Very beautiful, and it was very, very delicious with a little kombucha on the side. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the City of Healing. This is your sister, Sanette Inter Angela. Hope it's been a beautiful day for you. Wanted to come forth and just do a brief share. I believe I started this video with one of my recipes using oyster mushrooms, and it was quite tasty. I believe I made either a frittata or omelet or stir fry. I'm not sure which one I shared. But anyway, it was delicious. I didn't have any problems with the taste of it whatsoever. Not as meaty or hearty as the lion's mane, but it was sweet. It was tasty. And mixing it in with the recipe that I did, it didn't really have a really meaty texture or taste to it. It was just seasoned with, the seasoning that I just put in it. But oyster mushrooms are a very interesting species because they are very, very easy to grow. And I was fascinated with that because I mentioned I wanted to start probably growing mushroom. So I decided that I would purchase a kit. So I did. And this kit I found on Amazon. And as you can see, it's white. This is not white because this is clear. So this is something growing. This is the mycelium, and they have developed a web. So the reproductive process has started. All they need now is some oxygen or some air. So what I'm gonna do tonight is I'm gonna cut it as the instructions state, soak it in water like 6 to 10 hours. Then in the morning, just pat it dry and put it back in the box and just water it every day. In 7 to 10 days, I will get a flush of oyster mushrooms. And I'm looking forward to it so I can show what I get and even make something from it. So I'm pretty excited about that. This is a start, something that I could closely watch and monitor. Even though they grow in the wild, because they are decomposers and they've been used to clean up the environment. So that's the name of this video, I believe, is Can Mushrooms Help Save the World? Uh, for one, like I said, they help clean up the environment. They are excellent decomposers. They are closely related to humans, as I mentioned before, even though they are one skin deep and humans are several skin deep. They digest, but they digest on the outside, which makes them decomposers, and we digest on the inside. So that's how we decompose or digest our food. So that's just one of the difference, but we have so many other similarities, and been compared to, if you go back and do a lot of history, that's where we come from. So in some way, fungi are our ancestors, even though life started in the water, and fungi or mushrooms can be found in the water, underground, on land, and so many, even though we know of a lot, there are so much more that we don't know, and it's a mystery. And so many different species that we don't even know exist in different parts of the world. It's just quite fascinating. They have so many medicinal properties, so many ways that they use it to clothe themselves and to house themselves, and even to make fire. It's just very, very interesting when talking about the subject of mushrooms. And even though with mushrooms, I learned about them originally from David Wolfe and Paul Stamets. Well, definitely David Wolfe, when I took a nutritional class with him several years ago, and Paul Stamets, which I believe he mentioned him, so that's why I researched him. But they were very not convincing, but they had the evidence that showed a lot of information that a lot of people don't know or acknowledge about the excellent benefits of mushrooms and the mycelium that help nourish our world. Mycelium is basically the root, is where the mushroom, the flower, comes from. And one bunch of mushroom can run for 8 miles, and that's significant because it makes our land rich. That's how a lot of farmers get rich soil, or how you can start getting rich soil is to have mushrooms that on your land to decompose there and basically grow their mycelium, and you keep turning it until the land becomes rich and nourishing. So quite some years ago, I purchased a book from Paul Stamets, but first I got the audio book, and I read that first, and then I purchased the book, and I never opened the book, even though I do have the book, and I do need to go and read over it again because it is a good read. It's like a mycology book, so it's a wealth of information. It's definitely valid. Paul Stamets patent a lot of good information, good products about mushrooms. It's just unbelievable. But anyway, I think I need to go back to what I wanted to discuss about oyster mushrooms. They are easy to grow, so that's how I got my little kit, and I'm going to start there. They have medicinal properties to help boost the immune system. They are loaded with vitamins and minerals like selenium, copper, zinc, vitamin D, because they have gills, and even though they don't get direct sunlight, they do absorb some of the sunlight, even though they don't need it, but they have gills that can help assist with that. Antiviral properties and pathogen properties as well. They are high in protein, even though they have a little bit of fat and a little bit of starch, but they're mostly protein. And so they can help stabilize blood sugar, excuse me, because they are excellent meat replacement. Let's see, also they have a good amount of vitamin B as well, the B vitamins. Let's see what else. I can go on and on. They're tasty, nutritious. decomposers, help clean up our environment with the mycelium, and they help feed us. Just so many good things to say about mushrooms, so much to research on them. This was like I said, an excellent read, which talks about mycelium, different types of mushrooms, how to grow mushrooms, the nutritional properties, the biology, the chemistry, what you need to know. It's in this book. Can we save the world? Can we enrich our soil? They are antiviral, they are antibacterial, anti-pathogenic. Even though they are very perishable, but when they are here, they do get the work done. And even though they come really quick, I used to tell my sisters, and I've noticed that, even though I didn't know much about it, but I used to tell them after a storm, the aliens were here because they left their droppings, which were mushrooms. But there was some truth to that, because what they needed was something to shake them up, with the thunder, which I said, that opened up the earth. So that's basically what they need, is some type of catastrophe or some type of shock to help, release the spores. And also, with the water or the moisture in the air and the warmth, that helps make, the fungus. And then the next day you wake up and then you have mushrooms everywhere. It don't take them long, and most mushrooms don't really last a long time, but they are excellent decomposers. And I've also said to some people, you can tell some people's what their lifestyle is like, what their health issues they may have by looking at their yard. Because if there's a lot of toxins or a lot of illness going around, certain type of grass or mushrooms will be in their yard. So that was very interesting. That's another reason why I like to go for walks and look in people's yards to see what's there, because it kind of tells a lot about their environment that they live in or that person. So just something to think about. Anyway, that's all I wanted to come forth and share. My little recipe or demonstrated recipe for an omelet or frittata, and some of the benefits of oyster mushrooms, and just to think about growing mushrooms and the benefit that it has for the environment of enriching our soil and being medicinal to the human body, getting rid of toxins like heavy metal and like mercury and aluminum, and enriching our body with vitamins and minerals. And like I said, fighting off bacteria, fungus, and not fungus, but bacteria and virus and pathogens. Something to think about. Can mushrooms save the world? In my opinion, in this book, Paul Stamets has the theory that they definitely can. Anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for visiting the city, and I hope that you all have a beautiful evening. Take care.